If you're a coffee lover, you may want to reconsider before pouring that morning cup. Coffee in the United States could soon become more expensive than ever, thanks to Trump's new tariffs. Brace yourself, as coffee prices could skyrocket to an unimaginable level. $14 for a pound of coffee. Just recently enacted, Trump's tariff policy has caused the prices of the top 6 best-selling coffee brands at Walmart to double. If you're a regular customer, you might have already noticed a significant change in prices within just a few days. Walmart can't do much to keep prices reasonable, and now, your favorite cup of coffee has turned into a luxury item. So, what exactly happened to cause such a sharp increase in coffee prices? Which brands will be the hardest hit, and will they be able to maintain their presence on Walmart's shelves? Moreover, with millions of Americans relying on their morning coffee ritual, will it remain a reasonable choice or become a luxury good? What do you think about this situation? Will you continue buying coffee after the price hike, or will you seek an alternative? In the next few minutes, we'll analyze each coffee brand and explore the reasons behind this surprising price increase. At the top of the list is Foulier's Classic Roast, a coffee brand that has long been favored by coffee enthusiasts at Walmart. However, since August 2025, the price of this product has nearly doubled compared to its average price just a year ago. This isn't a temporary price hike, but rather a gradual increase, which many consumers only realize when they tally up how much they've spent on coffee over the month. Reports from distributors indicate that the main cause isn't domestic production costs, but rather changes in the import supply chain. Robusta and Arabica coffee beans, which are the main ingredients for the classic roasting method, are mostly imported from Central and South America. With the new U.S. tariff policy in effect, all import contracts have to be renegotiated, and some key suppliers are facing additional tariffs of up to 50%. This not only drives up raw material costs, but also weakens Walmart's bargaining power with suppliers. Another factor is the significant increase in international shipping costs. After shipping companies raised rates to offset fuel and insurance costs, each imported coffee container saw price hikes in the thousands of dollars. With Foulier's classic roasted coffee production, these costs are quickly reflected at the checkout counter. Market surveys from early August 2025 showed that more than 40% of Walmart consumers noticed the price increase of Foulier's Classic Roast. Among them, middle-aged and older customers are particularly concerned that this might not just be a temporary price increase, but a new price level they will need to adjust to. This is crucial because these consumers tend to stick to the same brand and are less likely to switch to other options. The impact of the price hike doesn't just stop at reducing consumer purchasing power. Walmart stores have reported a slight decline in sales of Foulier's Classic Roast in the first month after the new prices were implemented, while low-cost instant coffee brands have seen significant growth. This suggests that a segment of customers has switched to more affordable options, even at the cost of sacrificing flavor quality. Analysts warn that if this trend continues, instant coffee brands may lose a loyal customer base that has been traditional for decades. To protect its profit margin, Walmart has had to make a tough decision, opting to maintain higher prices for its coffee products. This has created an opportunity for competitors to launch aggressive discount campaigns in an attempt to capture market share. Financial experts have warned that this is just the first sign of how the new tariffs are beginning to affect everyday essentials. When a familiar household product like Foulier's Classic Roast is directly impacted, the big question is, how many other products will face the same fate? Will prices stabilize at the current level, or will they continue to rise if shipping and supply chain issues aren't resolved? With this situation, can you continue shopping as you did before, or will you have to adapt to the new reality? These are questions many consumers are asking themselves after seeing Foulier's Classic Roast prices soar at Walmart. Alongside Foulier's Great Value, Walmart's popular budget coffee option, is also caught up in the price increase whirlwind. Known as an affordable choice, Great Value has always been the go-to for those looking to save money while maintaining their daily coffee habit. However, since August 2025, the price of Great Value coffee has nearly doubled compared to the previous year. What's surprising is that Great Value doesn't rely heavily on expensive coffee beans like other imported brands. The brand's coffee blends are primarily sourced from a variety of suppliers, including cheap beans from emerging markets. However, The new import tariffs have directly impacted all sources, causing even cheap coffee beans to become more expensive, and ultimately causing Great Value to lose its price advantage overnight. With production, packaging, and shipping costs all soaring, Walmart had no choice but to raise the product's price. As a result, Great Value is now priced on par, or sometimes even higher than mid-range coffee brands, something that has never happened before. This change has led to a noticeable shift in consumer buying behavior. Sales data shows that in the first week of the new pricing, Great Value purchases dropped significantly. Some customers have turned to alternatives such as small pack instant coffee or coffee substitutes made from grains and barley. This indicates that Great Value's loyal customer base is highly sensitive to price changes. When the Great Value no longer offers a cost-effective option, their loyalty starts to waver. Additionally, local coffee roasters and regional grocery store chains quickly stepped in, offering private label products priced 10 to 15% lower than Great Value. This move not only attracts new customers, but also forces Walmart to reconsider its pricing strategy. When the cheapest option no longer exists, consumers will begin to weigh other factors beyond price, such as flavor, brand reliability, and convenience. This could create clearer customer segments, helping brands find their own identity rather than just seeking Great Value. What many don't realize is that this price increase could affect the entire portfolio of Walmart's private label products. If even Great Value coffee, a staple for many households, can no longer maintain low prices, customers might begin to question the pricing of other essential items like milk, cereal, or canned goods. This skepticism could force Walmart to launch major promotions or large-scale marketing campaigns just to retain its customer base. With the current tariffs and shipping costs still high, the short-term outlook for Walmart's products doesn't seem promising. Consumers who are used to low prices may need to gradually adapt or seek alternative options. This situation shows that even products once considered immune to price increases are not spared from the ripple effects of tariff policies. And if a brand known for its affordability, like Great Value, has to raise prices, the big question is, what will happen to other essential items in the typical American grocery cart? In third place is Dunkin' Original Blend. Among the packaged coffee brands at Walmart, Dunkin' Original Blend stands out as a product associated with the famous Dunkin' coffee chain. It's a popular choice for families who want to enjoy store-bought coffee at home. However, after the new tariffs were applied, Dunkin' Original Blend became one of the most impacted brands, with prices nearly doubling in just 2 months. What makes Dunkin' unique is its position in the mid-range market. The price is reasonable, not as expensive as Starbucks, but higher than store brands like Great Value. This balance has helped Dunkin' retain loyal customers, especially those who appreciate quality coffee without wanting to pay too much. However, as Dunkin's price starts to match Starbucks, the big question is whether Dunkin' is still worth choosing. A major factor behind this price increase is Dunkin's coffee bean supply. Market data shows that most of Dunkin's coffee is imported from Central and South America, regions heavily affected by the new U.S. tariffs. The increase in import tariffs on Arabica coffee beans has driven up production costs. Unlike some competitors, Dunkin' does not blend other coffee beans to save costs, but maintains a consistent quality with 100% Arabica beans. This makes it difficult for them to reduce prices, forcing customers to adjust their shopping habits. Retail data from several East Coast states shows a clear trend. Dunkin's loyal customers are beginning to reduce their coffee purchases, opting for smaller bags or waiting for promotional discounts. Sales of Dunkin's 12 Oz bags have increased, while larger 24 Oz and 36 Oz bags have seen a sharp decline, indicating that consumers are now buying just enough rather than stocking up. This is a clear sign that price sensitivity is gradually emerging. Another negative impact is that this shift has opened the door for international competitors to enter the U.S. market. New brands from Canada and Europe have quickly launched promotional campaigns right on Walmart's shelves, pricing their products lower than Dunkin' while still offering high-quality Arabica beans. Their goal is to attract customers who have abandoned Dunkin' due to its high prices, but are not yet ready to switch to cheaper brands. This impact isn't limited to packaged coffee. Dunkin', with its omni-channel presence including its own stores, is facing a situation where consumers are rethinking their perception of the brand. Some customers have begun comparing the price of a cup of coffee at Dunkin' to Starbucks and have realized that the price difference is no longer significant. This shift could harm Dunkin's long-term positioning. Faced with this situation, Dunkin' has two strategic options. Either accept a reduction in profit margins to maintain competitive prices, or elevate the brand experience to justify the higher prices. However, with coffee bean costs showing no signs of decreasing, keeping prices the same is nearly impossible. For consumers, this raises a big question about the future of mid-tier coffee brands. If Dunkin', once seen as a quality yet affordable option, is now being compared to Starbucks, the line between market segments begins to blur. As the price gap between brands narrows, consumers will start choosing based on factors like brand recognition and experience, not just price. If this trend continues, Dunkin' may lose the balance between value and price that helped it build its reputation in the US. This isn't a temporary price shock, but potentially a major turning point in how Americans shop for and consume coffee at home in the future. Next up is Café Bustelo. This is another prominent coffee brand among those seeing price hikes at Walmart, with deep ties to the US Hispanic community and coffee lovers who enjoy bold, strong flavors. However, it's precisely this strength and distinctive taste that has made Café Bustelo one of the hardest-hit brands by the new tariffs. The main issue is that most of Café Bustelo's dark-roasted Robusta and Arabica beans are imported from countries in the Caribbean and South America. With these countries facing high import tariffs, Café Bustelo cannot replace its ingredients with cheaper coffee beans without losing its brand identity. This forces them to accept higher production costs and pass this burden on to consumers. In regions where this brand is popular, the price of Café Bustelo coffee at Walmart has increased by up to 85% in just the past few months, leaving many customers surprised. As a result, shoppers who previously bought coffee in bulk are now reducing their purchases or waiting for special discount offers. Even the most loyal customers are starting to change their shopping habits, which is a serious warning sign for any brand. Beyond the price shock, Café Bustelo's situation highlights another factor. When a brand closely associated with a specific community is affected, the emotional ripple effect spreads quickly. On Latin American community forums and social media groups, the price hike of Bustelo has become a hot topic of conversation. Many believe this price increase reflects the negative impact of tariffs not only on the economy, but also on cultural values. This perception creates an invisible pressure on both retailers and producers. This raises a tough question for Walmart. Should they continue selling Café Bustelo if profit margins are shrinking and demand is falling? Discontinuing or reducing its presence could provoke backlash from the community, but continuing to sell could mean accepting lower profits or renegotiating supplier agreements. This is not an easy choice, especially with rising shipping costs, import tariffs, and currency fluctuations. Café Bustelo must not only compete with other Latin coffee brands, but also face competition from global brands that are quickly seizing the opportunity. With Bustelo's prices rising, brands from Colombia, Brazil, and even Europe are offering products at lower prices, with marketing strategies focused on the purity of the coffee beans. If this trend continues, Bustelo may lose its position as the leading Latin coffee brand in the US. Looking more broadly, tariffs are not only raising prices, but could also weaken the bond between the brand and its core community. When prices exceed consumers' tolerance, loyalty will be tested, and shopping habits built over many years could change in just a few months. Without a solid strategic plan, the damage could extend beyond short-term revenue losses, leading to a long-term loss of market position. For consumers, this is a tough choice. Pay more to maintain the favorite flavor and quality, or switch to a cheaper product. The decisions consumers make in the coming months could determine Café Bustelo's fate on Walmart shelves. And if the worst happens, if the brand disappears or is replaced, it won't just be the loss of a coffee product. For many, it will be a cultural and emotional shock. Next up is Maxwell House. Maxwell House, an iconic American coffee brand with the famous slogan, "Good to the last drop," has been deeply tied to the memories of many generations. However, now as the coffee supply chain faces pressure from new tariffs, the brand is faced with a tough decision. Maintain stable prices by compromising quality or protect quality but increase prices? So far, Walmart has chosen the latter, but this is generating strong backlash. Unlike niche brands, Maxwell House appeals to a broad consumer base. Therefore, any price increase will have a far-reaching impact, especially when a large can of Maxwell House now costs nearly twice as much as it did last year. This isn't just a price tag. It directly affects the weekly shopping habits of millions of families. Maxwell House used to apply a strategy of large-scale production and purchase coffee beans at discounted rates. But now, everything is changing as prices rise. The new import tariffs have significantly reduced Maxwell House's competitive advantage. Contracts for purchasing Arabica and Robusta beans from South America and Africa had to be renegotiated as soon as the tariffs took effect, driving up input costs. Unlike premium brands that can pass on the increased cost to customers willing to pay more, Maxwell House serves price-sensitive customers who won't hesitate to walk away when the product price rises too high. A worrying sign is the noticeable shift in consumer purchasing behavior. Instead of buying large cans as they did before, consumers are switching to smaller packages or waiting for special discount programs. This change not only disrupts the steady revenue that Maxwell House once had, but also drives up the packaging and shipping cost per unit of product. If this situation persists, the brand could face lower profits even though prices have risen. In certain regions, particularly in the South and Midwest, Walmart stores have recorded unusually high inventory levels of Maxwell House, indicating that consumers are now more cautious about making purchases. Switching to cheaper brands or Walmart's private labels could cause Maxwell House to lose market share, and this is a shift that may be difficult to reverse without a strategic change. In terms of competition, Maxwell House is facing pressure from international competitors that do not bear the same high import tariffs. Some brands are pricing slightly lower, but still maintain high-quality coffee, attracting customers who are hesitating with Maxwell House. Once a customer tries a new product and finds it satisfactory, the likelihood of them returning to Maxwell House drops significantly. This is a long-term threat that the brand cannot afford to ignore. The question is whether Maxwell House can overcome this crisis without losing its identity. Lowering quality could tarnish its reputation, while maintaining quality means continuing to push prices higher. With no sign of tariffs easing, Maxwell House must decide between protecting market share or sacrificing some customers to maintain profit margins. For consumers, the price increase of Maxwell House isn't just about a cup of coffee becoming more expensive. It raises a bigger question. Can they continue their daily habits in such a volatile economy? If even a major brand like Maxwell House has to adjust its prices, can they weather this tariff storm? The answer may soon be reflected in consumer receipts in the coming months. As for Starbucks, it is more than just a coffee brand. It represents an experience built around modern spaces, relaxation, and a daily self-indulgence. However, as the new tariffs impact the price of importing premium Arabica beans from South America and East Africa, the effects have extended far beyond Starbucks coffee shops. Starbucks coffee products are also available on Walmart's shelves, and this is a special case. Starbucks is positioned in the premium segment, with customers generally less price-sensitive than those buying budget brands. However, when the prices of these products increase by 40 to 80% in less than a year, even the most loyal customers begin to reconsider. At Walmart, a bag of Pike Place ground coffee or ready-to-brew Starbucks coffee now costs as much as, or even more than, a meal at a casual dining restaurant. Starbucks has always adhered strictly to high standards for coffee bean quality and roasting processes, so they cannot replace their premium coffee beans with cheaper ones and still retain the signature flavor. Starbucks has faced significant challenges amid rising tariffs, especially as their uncompromising quality policy has made the brand vulnerable to price fluctuations. One notable shift in consumer behavior is the move from purchasing larger packages to opting for smaller ones or only buying during promotional periods. This has led to a reduction in the average transaction value and added pressure on Starbucks' distribution strategy. With smaller orders, the storage and shipping costs per pound of coffee have risen, causing retail prices to trend upward. In terms of competition, Starbucks is grappling with a tough dilemma. How to maintain its premium image while avoiding losing customers to competitors like Peet's Coffee or Lavazza, brands that are more flexible on pricing. Many Walmart customers have tried these alternatives and found that their taste is comparable but at a lower price. This is not a positive sign for Starbucks, especially since the brand cannot easily launch lower-priced products without damaging its reputation and core values. If Starbucks continues to maintain its quality, its product prices will continue to rise, and their coffee may become a luxury item, consumed only on special occasions. The big question is whether Starbucks can maintain its identity and accept a smaller market share, or will it find a way to adapt to the current cost and tariff changes? No matter which path Starbucks chooses, consumers will certainly feel the difference when purchasing coffee from Walmart. 6 coffee brands, from Fulier's Classic Roast to Starbucks, demonstrate that tariffs affect not only luxury or specially imported products, but can deeply impact the daily consumer habits of millions of Americans. With prices doubling, every shopping decision becomes harder, as consumers must weigh between remaining loyal to their favorite brands and sticking to a tight budget. What all these brands have in common is that no one is immune to the impact of rising costs, but each brand reacts differently. Some maintain their quality standards and accept losing customers, while others adjust their products, seek new suppliers, or change package sizes to better align with the situation. The big question we all face is whether this is just a temporary hardship, or if this will become the new normal we'll need to adapt to in the long term. We affirm that this video is not intended to create division or conflict within the United States. All content presented aims to analyze and promote deeper discussions on current events, societal psychology, and ongoing trends. We fully respect the U.S. Constitution and federal regulations. If you found this post useful, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts so we can continue the conversation. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our upcoming posts.